Welcome to In the Middle of It with Jess and Paige, two friends in real life with Jesus, inviting you into the middle of our everyday conversations.
Hey friends, welcome back for episode 6 of In the Middle of It. We are here today discussing a season that I, Jessica, find myself in where, as you can tell from the title, my ducks are not in a row. I don't have a big, clear vision. I don't have clear markers of success or clear markers of whether I'm hitting the nail on the head or completely missing it. I'm just having to walk day by day and trust Jesus that if I cling to him, he is clinging to me, and that the goal of each day truly is just to live and surrender, trusting him with the bigger picture. So welcome back, and we hope you enjoyed today's episode.
You'll be right in the middle. You'll be right in the middle.
Welcome.
That wasn't it. That was like time out. That's what I was thinking.
You wanted to do this.
Yeah. That's it.
All right. Welcome to In the Middle of It.
With Jess and Paige.
Yeah.
I'm really glad I wasn't sure there. I was like, oh, you want me to finish?
Yeah. I did. You did good. All right. Jess, what are you in the middle of?
In the middle of it. I'm in the middle of life.
Man.
Yeah, very much August was a like season in between. So summer, and then I feel like this week is our true fall.
Yeah.
And I am normally a very scheduled person. I like structure. I like predictable patterns. I'm a budget person. So I normally have my ducks like pretty in a row. Like not like all my ducks are in a row, but like
They're usually
I'm very accounted for. My ducks are very accounted for, and they may like occasionally get a little crazy, but they like pretty much for the most part stay in the vicinity. You know what I mean? But right now I feel like my ducks are like everywhere, and I'm just like, yo, Frank, it's your turn.
Yo, Frank, it's your turn. Come over here.
All right, get out of the way, Betsy. That's what I feel like with my life.
Yeah.
I have some friends that are newish friends. They're like moms that I've known from swim team. Well, one of them I've known from swim team, but now I'm in homeschool life, and she's awesome. There's like a group, and she sends like anything going on in the homeschool world.
Wow.
And she's phenomenal. And she like organizes it. She's like, all right, I'm doing the science lab. We have these spots. You can Venmo me this much money.
Wow.
And I'm telling you, such a gift. I like want to continually tell her how grateful I am for her, but like we are kind of newish friends, and I want to be like, I don't want to like creep her out.
Yeah, you don't want to like come on too strong.
Yeah. Really thankful.
You were saying it right now.
And I've joked with her because she's gotten a little taste of how not in line my ducks are. And I'm like, and so then yesterday we were together, and there was another mom that I just recently am starting to get to know. And she also seems to be a mom who's really great, like thriving as a homeschool mom.
Yeah.
And I love that. We all are a mess in different ways.
Mm-hmm.
So let me just say that. And I'm not disillusioned. Like,
She's just got her hand on this one thing.
yeah, like they've got a really good pace. And this newer mom, her kids are older and like middle school and high school. And she's been doing it for a while. And, you know, like just thriving, you know, like really to the beat.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. So that was probably not good for saying. Sorry about that. Okay. So, I apologize. I'm all over the place. I got 12 instruments happening, and they're all singing different songs.
Yeah.
So I was saying to her, I actually used to like be the person people counted on to keep them in. I used to do this for a living.
That's probably why I feel so out of sorts, is because you're what's keeping me on track.
Yeah, like I'm normally, I always talk to you about this. I don't know why, but I just love in y'all's worship team, the worship world, that there's the like,
the click.
The click. I love that thing. I've never even heard a click.
I'm gonna let you listen to it.
But I just love this whole idea of it. I think about it all the time.
Yeah.
I'm normally somebody has to be the click setter. I mean, Jesus is the click setter. But like someone in your band.
68 BPM.
Yeah.
It's gonna be,
And someone, like you've told me about the people that have the mics, but not so the outside people can hear them, but so that the band can hear.
Yeah.
And like kind of, I'm actually gifted to be the person that gets everybody in line with the click and gets us on pace and gets us moving with the click. Okay. I'm sorry, any worship people that are like this. But this is what, just so you know that people that don't live in your world, this is what we think of you. Yeah, just in case you're wondering. Anyway, I'm normally someone that is actually my gifting. That is not me this season.
Yeah.
It's very interesting because I feel completely out of my element, I guess is the way you could say it. But at the same time, I feel very, very peaceful and very hopeful. I'm barely holding on to a schedule. Like we have very predictable patterns. My kids go to co-op on Wednesdays. Mills has swimming 3 nights a week. Maggie has soccer 2 nights a week. Like, we have some really marker things that the Lord told us to say yes to this season. And he is definitely drawing boundary lines for me. Like Monday through Thursday during the day, off limits. I literally put something on my schedule for tomorrow with someone. I've told you, you're like, this is you this past Sunday. There's a handful of people in my life that I want the boundary lines to not count for.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I just want them to not count. And so I planned a lunch with someone tomorrow. That's not the boundary line. I'm not canceling. I'm so sorry, Jesus. This is real life.
This is real.
This is like the actual middle of it. I'm not going to cancel. I really want time with this person. But I'm also acknowledging that, like, I feel overwhelmed.
Yeah.
And part of it's because I have stepped outside that boundary line. So it's not that I don't have some boundary lines in this season.
Yeah.
I just don't have the like super predictable. I want to make things formula. I actually would love to be like absolutely nothing Monday through Thursday. Because in actuality, I'm not sure. Maybe it was stepping out of the boundary. Maybe it wasn't. I don't know. This is somebody that I like really want time with. I haven't gotten time with in a long time, and is someone that is like a little bit ahead of me, and so they really help me. You know what I mean? And so it could be that, because this is the thing. I actually would love if Jesus would say Monday through Thursday, you're not allowed to schedule a single thing.
And then you just stay within that, and you just held firm boundaries and just said no.
Right. Like I like really defined boundary lines. I'm a very high challenge person. I said this to you over lunch. I thrive in challenge. How do I know that? Because I'm absolutely not a runner, and I ran the Chicago Marathon.
Yeah, you did.
You know what I mean? Like
really
that
did.
wasn't because people are like, are you still running? I'm like, I wasn't really ever. I was just
because you
completing
did a half
the
marathon
challenge
with your sister and your mom in the spring.
Yeah, and I just like didn't do it.
Didn't do it.
I literally got 3/4 and I was like, I'm done. And walked back to the start line and waited for them.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. Yeah, like, but when you but like the challenge is put before me of like, I'm going to run the marathon, and I do it. Like, I really, really thrive with goals. I'm a goal-oriented person, a challenge person. And I feel like the Lord in this season is saying to me, this is not a high challenge season. This is a high focus season. I mean, it's kind of, you were sharing in our last episode about like a horse having blinders on.
Yeah.
And I feel like the Lord has said to me, like, here are your order of what I want you. Here's what I want you to most focus on in this season. And like, focus on those things and trust me with all the rest of it.
Yeah.
And when I want to formulate or like give myself high challenges, the previous year of my life, like last July to this end of this summer, I really focused a lot on my health. and my eating and all of those habits. And I feel like he's asking me now to just like trust those habits that have been put in place. But like, I actually want to like do another diet, or not diet. I never did a diet. I want to do another challenge. I want to do like a faster way, or a, something. I want to like cut carbs, or make a marker point of how much protein I have to get. And there's just no grace on it. Like, there's just not. Like, I just don't have those really defined boundary lines in this season. It's like he's saying to me, you just go, and if you hit a boundary, I'll let you know. No, I don't want that. Just draw the boundary, and I'll be sure to keep it. But see, like, that's the dark side to my gifting, is because then I become dependent on my ability to not pass the boundary line, instead of my ability to depend on his presence. And his presence is the boundary line right now. Yeah. And so, I just don't love it. I mean, I do, but it's just uncomfortable. It's just, I'm just not in my element. So it's just not easy. Yeah. Like, challenge is easy for me, which seems paradoxical.
Yeah, it is, but it is for you.
Yeah. And so, like, I have to be a little bit more flaky than I've ever been. I have to be a little bit more...
Right, and I'm like, you have said so much in our friendship in the past few years, like, that if you're wrong, in God's grace and his time, he'll correct you, and you're having to live in the grace space. Yeah. Completely, and with not a real definition. Of course, there are some patterns, and there's some things that are just immoral and sinful, and like, but that's not what we're talking about here. Yeah. We're talking about the gray area, navigating the gray area of life, of like, of dependency on Jesus, of like relying on his presence, which is where you and I are different, where I probably will live in like the feeling of like, I feel God here, or I feel God here, or da-da-da-da. And like, I can convince myself I feel God over there. You know what I mean? And you are the opposite, and you're like, no, God said this, and this is where I'll feel God.
Yes.
And he's like,
I'm like, he drew me a map, and I'm going to follow it. Like, follow the map, find his presence. It's really quite simple. Yeah, and that's just not the... I've actually thought about this a lot recently. It's very interesting, because I feel like the Lord does similar work in us, but in very opposite ways. Completely. So, like, in some ways, in our current seasons, I feel totally like... Okay, look, vibing is like totally not a cool thing to say right now. It's going to my politics, but until somebody gives me the new trendy word that we're going to replace it with, all I got is vibe. Okay, so I feel like in many ways, like you and I are like very vibing. Yes, I think it's because we both have the same pursuit. 100%. But like our circumstantial seasons look completely different.
But you said to me, you were having to make a decision about your job. Mm-hmm. And you were like, the Lord was like, do you want to choose hard? Or do you want to be like, the other one's fine. The other choice is fine.
Yeah. But either door, I'll be faithful. But this one is going to be harder. But harder is like not the hard. It's a new kind of hard. Yeah. And so I'm just in a new kind of hard with him right now. And that's okay. I actually am really enjoying so much about this season. I'm just, I think what's scary for me is that, oh gosh, I like hate what I was about to say. Like, there's no clean definition of like, you won. You did it. You got the victory. Like, I don't get, it's like, well, I hope that went well. Hope Betsy made it back over to the mud pile, because you know what I mean? Like, I hope the ducks are still here. And I'm like, am I doing a good job as a mom? I mean, I think about Mills. I was telling you this earlier, but like, he started co-op today, and he doesn't want to go to co-op. He wants to go to public school. He was going to be the 5th grader at the public school that he was comfortable at, and like, he has a lot of security there. And I don't think John and I did the wrong thing. Yeah. I think we made the right decision. I believe Jesus has confirmed that for us. But like, he did not wake up today with the excitement of the first day. And even earlier when we were talking over lunch, and I was saying to you, like, I see Jesus in it, and I see like the good things he's doing in Mills, the good things he's doing in me, even when I'm in the midst of saying all that, and it's like, I think we made the right choice. Like, I just don't know. Like, when the boundaries aren't clearly defined, like, my pass or failure is not clearly defined, and I don't love that, because, and the thing is, I used to like hate myself for that, and like label myself a perfectionist, and like just swing my pendulum of like, oh, I don't know the gospel. But that's not true. It's actually like my deep desire for the gospel in my life, like my deep desire to depend on Jesus. It's like, I want to know that I depended on Jesus. I want to know that I was obedient to Christ. I want to know that I'm being a good mom. I don't know, like, I'm winging it over here. Like this morning on the way to school, I would have loved to like play pump up music and be like, it's going to be great. What are 12 things that we love about homeschool? And I didn't. I just started to pray, and not like, God, thank you that you're awesome and you're for us. I was like, God, this is really hard.
Yeah.
And this is scary. And I'm just asking that you give Mills and Maggie courage, and that like, I know your truth is that you have a purpose in them and for them and through them at this new school. But I need that to be tangibly real to them today, because I'm scared. Mm-hmm. And that's not really the prayers you want to pray with your kids. Mm-mm. You know what I mean? Like, so it's like, am I being a good mom? I don't know. I mean, should I have not prayed that prayer with my kids? Like, should I have been like just declaring scripture over them, or like declaring truth? Maybe. I don't know. Like, I think in a different car with a different family at a different time, that's exactly what that mom should do. But today, as me in the car with my kids, there was just such a real, tangible vulnerability. And I feel like God's just continuing to invite me into leaning into vulnerability with my kids.
Yeah, same. Yeah.
And it's like, I can literally sit here and have this conversation with you and be like, yeah, that sounds right. And at the same time, when I go to bed at night, be like, I hope I was a good mom today.
And you're talking about like, there's no clean, like, okay, I did that. I hit that goal. You know, it's like walking in the gospel. The only marker is I don't know. The only marker to me is like the knowing that I'm with him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because there's no circumstance that we can control. I was just talking to a girl the other day who's going through a hard thing in her marriage, and I was like, look, you're going to have to make some really hard decisions here about her marriage. But, like, what you can't do is control the circumstance, the outcome of this thing. All you can do is, like, walk within the boundary lines God set for you, you know, mm-hmm. and, like, speak for yourself. But, like, living in the gospel is we don't get to control the outcome. Mm-hmm. We only are sheep who are supposed to be hearing the voice of God. And not, you know, like, because in your own strength, like you said, your own gifting is like, you could probably make happen. Like, if really ultimately you could probably get to where you could figure out a way to make co-op or homeschool or something that Mills just like craved.
Oh my gosh, I have it in me. I am a very over the top person.
You're very over the top, and whenever you need to, you whip that thing out the bag and it's a party, you know. But, like, the Lord's asking you not to do it.
Poppins in that way.
You are being
like, I will be like, oh, you don't love homeschool? Let me show you how amazing it is. But I don't want to. There's a time and place where that's a gift to someone else.
But it's like what the Lord's very much asking you not to do right now. And I think that's actually really respectful.
I hope so.
I think it's actually really respectful of the space that he's in.
I think that what it's doing is, I was telling you this morning, I talk about like realizing your prayers being answered. I have been for years, probably 5 years. I'm horrible with time. Definitely more than 3, probably 5. Been thinking about John 15 because it's a very common verse that people reference, where it talks about Jesus saying, "I'm the true vine," and the thing that has stood out to me 5 years ago that I've never been able to move past is Jesus says, I am the vine, my Father is the gardener. And then he goes on to talk about abiding in the vine.
Yeah.
And that's where a lot of the teachings that I've heard are. But like the thing that's always struck me is like God, my Father is the gardener. And so I think that it's a double whammy for me in that I'm not getting to be the gardener in Mills's soul, and I'm not being able to be the gardener in my soul. You know, like I want to be the gardener in my home. As a woman, I actually believe we're gifted to like
to foster the environment.
Yes,
to nurture the environment.
100%. But I think that the dark side of that calling is that we can start to become the gardener in our husband's souls and our kids' souls. And I kind of want to do that. Like, if I'm being honest, like I want to be that. I don't ultimately want to, but like there is a comfort that I find in stepping into that space for my kids. And same is true for me. Like, but honestly, if I'm being really honest, this isn't 100% my heart, but there is a layer of my heart that wants to be the gardener of Mills's soul in this circumstance because I want to be the gardener of my soul.
Yeah,
it would
make
be
you feel better.
Right, it would make me feel better. It would make me feel better for him to be happy. It would make me feel a lot more secure in my choice, even though there's nothing in me that says like the marker for me following Jesus is my son's happiness.
Not one.
That's not it for me. But like there is just a part that as a mom that you're just like, wow, I love being a mom, especially when my kids love me being a mom. You know, like my daughter recently, sweet Maggie.
She's amazing.
I took them the other day to Five Below and told them they were going to get to use their allowance to buy candy, and then I bought it with my money because I'm just a sucker. Okay.
Yeah.
I just love it. And, she was like, oh, you are the best mom. I mean, you're just already a great mom, but you're really the best mom. And then I can't even remember what I did later that day. And she was like, wow, Mom, you are like really winning today. And in my mind, I'm thinking like, well, I hope you like me, even when I'm not buying you candy and letting you eat pizza for dinner or whatever it was.
Yeah.
But it also was like, yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. And so like, that's a really shallow end example, but the deep end example for me is Mills, that like I want to be the gardener, but what I'm actually teaching him to do is abide in Jesus.
Yeah.
And I'm trusting God the Father to be his gardener. And that is so hard. So anyway, so all my ducks are all over the place and I'm not in my element, but I don't feel lost. I think that's like the paradox of my life right now. I don't feel at all in my element, but I don't feel lost. I feel very much where I'm supposed to be. I feel very much, a vision that I might have even shared before in our few episodes before this, but the Lord gave me a vision years and years ago now that I was juggling. Have I told you this?
Mm-mm.
The Lord gave me this vision and I was standing there and Jesus was standing with me and I was juggling and I was like out of breath and I like couldn't do it. I just like I was keeping all the balls in the air, but like I just was really struggling to do so. And all of a sudden the vision shifted and Jesus was juggling all the things and he would like occasionally throw me something.
Oh yeah.
And I would like catch it and see it and it would be like cook dinner and I would cook dinner and he'd be like, all right, give that back to me. And then he'd be like, all right, work. And he would put work in my hand, like, okay, I'm doing work. And then he'd be like, all right, give it back to me. And I was like such at peace and he was at peace. And he was such a better juggler. And he was like, you let me be the juggler, you just be the stewarder. And I think about that all the time.
It's so good, right on for you right now.
Yeah, and it's like, I mean, honestly, there's a part of me that's like, well, that was like 7 or 8 or 10 years ago. So, but I'm like still learning it, and he's just teaching me in different ways. And in this season, I feel that the most though that I've ever felt it, because it's like, I don't know how I'm going to work and homeschool and steward my home and do sports. But I don't feel like I have to do it. I think that's it. I think I'm like giving up on doing it all. Like I'm just throwing in the towel. But not that I'm not going to do it. I'm just like, I refuse to be my own gardener. I just don't have it in me. Like no. I literally can only, I'm the most aware I've ever been that I truly can only hold the one thing, that I can't juggle. So it's like he's been teaching me this for the first time, but it's like, I actually feel like I'm not juggling nor want to juggle.
Yeah. Or maybe before it was like he gave me this one, you're like, okay, I'm gonna hold on to this one. Go ahead and give me the other one.
Yeah.
I'm gonna juggle too. It's like, no. It's really not. I can only take this one.
Yes. And there's moments when I look up and I'm like, wow, I must seem like a total disaster to these new moms. Or I look up and I go, oh my gosh, am I doing right by my son? But it's like when I just keep my eyes on Jesus and the thing right there in front of me, I'm okay. But it's like I can't get distracted.
Yeah, that's what I feel like. I mean, in the last episode, I talked about that with me too. It's like we're in this in tandem place, but very different ways that we're processing it.
Yeah.
But it is. I think there's this. I would even say there's a time right now for the body of Christ, like in the culture that we're in our country specifically, where it's like if your eyes are on Jesus, my God, we're in a whole mess of trouble. You know.
Yeah.
And so it's like it's just I still think it's like a training. Like there's like all these spaces that your eyes could look and be distracted and solve the problems. But if you look too long right now in your life, if you look for too long at one thing, you've lost 5 others.
When I zoom out right now in my life, I'm like, I can't do it. But it's like when I just stay zoomed in on the one thing, it's like I'm okay. But I don't honestly stay. I mean, there's definitely the temptations of because even like my quiet time, like I'm reading Ezekiel right now and I'm definitely getting stuff from it this morning. There's things I could say about it, but I'm just not. I literally wrote in my journal the other day and I was like, God, I just don't have anything to say. And he was like, you don't have to have deep thoughts for me to do deep work.
Yep.
And it was just like, okay, like my journal pages are a little emptier. Like, I don't have 30-minute ramblings of revelation to send to you on Marco. Like, it's just like, I'm here. I'm just doing the thing. It's like nailing the nail, hammering, whatever that expression is. You know what I'm saying?
I'm lost in it too now because you said it wrong and now I'm like, I don't know what it is.
I'm just like doing this thing and I'm trusting a house is being built, but I don't even have like some big great vision. Yeah, like it's not like I'm doing all this, like you shared in the previous episode, like a beautiful vision that you have, and I love that. And it's not that I don't have it at all, but like that's just not where I'm at. Like, I don't. Like I'm just like I have no idea what this chaos is. It's like in the movie, Jesus, very contradictory, The Shack.
Yeah.
When it's like this big mess and then you zoom out and like see this beautiful garden. It's like, I'm just trusting there's a beautiful garden, but it looks like a hot mess to me right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
what I'm hearing you saying though is like the Lord is getting you to stay present in the very minute, tiny moment. You know what I mean? Like like, because you are someone who you can catch vision for literally anything. Anything.
I literally walk by buildings that say for rent, and I've already
imagine what they are.
3 different businesses have already been built,
which is like an incredible gift. It's so cool, but it's like, the Lord's right now is like, and we're not using that one. That was like that. It's like whenever they like, it's like the memes of the guys who are like super buff, and then you look at their legs and this gasket like for like 5 years.
Yes,
it's like that muscle is very overdeveloped. Your pecs are like, I mean,
of all the things.
I said that. Your biceps. Sorry. Developed. Okay? You just need to maintain there for a while. Okay?
Yes.
Don't touch it. You maintain it for a while. And the Lord's like, but you have not even looked at your calves.
Yeah, I just feel like, and that's the thing, I think in previous seasons, it would have been like, okay, God, what are you fixing? What are you correcting? And I just don't feel that way. No. Like, I'm just like, it's okay. It's just, 'tis the season for this.
Because I think that God is way less offended about, okay, gosh, don't hear what I'm not saying. God's way less offended about our sin than we are. Because like, why did God make, he made provision for us to be redeemed, to be forgiven from every single sin, from the oldest of old to the newest of new sins. For the whole earth, God made provision for it in the cross. So, like, he's just unoffended by it. Does it break his heart? Yeah, because it separates us
I
from
was
him.
literally about to say, I think what it is like, yes, he hates sin, but it's not like the sin that he hates. He hates the separation.
He hates the separation. So like that's what I'm hearing is like the Lord's getting you to where you're like sensing him, following him in like every breath.
Mm-hmm.
You know that Jewish like saying where it's like following the like you have the dust of the rabbi on you?
Yeah.
I can't remember how it is. But it's
Yeah,
like,
I think that was it.
it's like the dust of your rabbi. It's like how closely you follow your rabbi, your teacher.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you have his literally dust from the sandals on your garments. So like you're like getting ready. It's like the dust is on you all the time. You know,
Very dusty.
You're very dusty.
But I'll be honest with you, like, I can genuinely say, like, nothing else matters.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I just don't care. I don't care what other moms think of me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care if the ducks are all over the place. I don't care if, like, my kids aren't polished. And, like, I do care, don't hear what I'm saying, but, like, I don't care if Mills has a bad day. Like, it's just Jesus. Like,
it's just Jesus.
It's just Jesus. And if Mills has a bad day, I'm going to need Jesus. And if Mills has a good day, I'm going to need Jesus.
Yeah.
So it's like just that. It's like all I really care about is the dust. And I just don't have any energy to care about all the other stuff. And I just don't want to. I used to always like want both and. I wanted Jesus and all the things. And I just don't anymore.
Seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and then all the other things are added, but not as we add them.
Yeah, and I'm known to that. So like at the point where I'm like, I don't care if he doesn't add them.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's why it's like, it's not that I don't want vision for our lives, but like, I'm not even hungry for vision.
Mm-mm.
Because
for him.
I just like, I like have to have him. And that I'm not even like, that I'm so human. I have so many flesh issues. Like this is, I've not arrived anywhere. Like, I'm just saying like, part of me is, it's scary not caring about any of the other stuff. But then the other part of me is like, it doesn't matter how scary it is because I just really don't care about all the other stuff.
Yeah, he's relieved you of those burdens.
Yeah.
When you were just now, it was beautiful, by the way. Thank you for that. It was beautiful. But I was thinking about Mary and Martha and with Jesus, and whenever she was doing all the things, and she was like, aren't you going to tell my sister Mary to get up and help me? And he was like, she's choosing the better thing.
Yeah.
It wasn't that those things that you were doing before were vain.
Yeah.
Or in vain.
Yeah.
But you've chosen the better now.
Yeah. It's like good intentions. And here's the deal. I'm sure in the last like 48 hours I've gotten frustrated with my family. I actually know I've gotten frustrated with somebody in my family about leaving some dirty socks around. Like, I can definitely Martha myself. Like, it's not that but I think there's more Mary in me than Martha. Yeah. For the first time.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
That's kind of
Which is like, thank you, God.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's like I'm almost scared because it's almost like I'm in a season where I'm like seeing fruit, but it's like, is it okay that I'm just like seeing fruit? Like, do I need to work for the next fruit, or can I just like, oh wow, well, that is how I feel about it, so I'm gonna keep on keeping on. You know what I mean? So, I don't know if that makes sense, but
it is. Well, I think.
Okay.
Well, I can say more about that, but let's end it here.
For next episode, who knows what we'll do in the middle of it. Next episode, I'll be a total Martha mess, maybe. I don't know. Nothing's wrong with Martha. Don't anybody write me in about, I need to love Martha. I love Martha. I've been Martha my whole life, okay? I can relate to Martha.
She's great.
In a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Me and Martha, we're going to have a lot of fun up there planning some parties. All right. Peace out.
Right in the middle of it, right in the middle of it, that's where you'll be found. Right in the middle of it, deep in the center of it, that's where you are now. You'll be